There's a very famous quote that says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And I think that truly applies to the sole proprietorship.
My faith rising. I'm crawling out the trenches, holding me.
Hello, visionaries. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Maresa Talbert. I am the founder and CEO of Talbert Law Office, your favorite go-to legal resource for all things business, nonprofit, and intellectual property law. So you see, I'm in a new location. I'm visiting my mom, but I could not let a week go by without giving you this good content. So I've been promising for weeks that we were going to talk about business entities. And today we're going to start that series, starting off with sole proprietorships. No need to delay. Let's jump right into it. So what is a sole proprietorship? I think most people are familiar, but if you are not, a sole proprietorship is the simplest and most common business structure to start a business. There's a very famous quote that says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And I think that truly applies to the sole proprietorship. This may or may not be obvious, but a sole proprietorship has one owner, and it has no legal separation from its owner. If you're trying to operate a sole proprietorship with two or more people, you have a partnership, which we'll talk about next week. A sole proprietorship is basically formed when you start engaging in your business activities. If you're doing freelance graphic design, selling t-shirts out of your car, or fulfilling cupcake orders from your home kitchen, you have already started a sole proprietor business. A sole prop does not require any formal governing documents to be formed. However, there may be certain requirements that you need, such as your business license, or seller's permit, or your federal EIN number, or even a DBA. This is why it is so important to understand when your business begins so that you're not penalized for engaging in business activities without having completed the relevant requirements. So let's talk about who owns a sole prop. As I mentioned earlier, a sole prop is owned by one owner. This person has no special title or designation, and again, there are no governing documents that are required. As a sole prop owner, you are entitled to all profits, and you are also responsible for all business debts, liabilities, and losses. Additionally, there are no special tax circumstances with a sole prop. As a sole prop owner, you would file your personal income tax returns just as you normally have. However, as a sole proprietor, you are considered a self-employed individual, and you are subject to self-employment taxes. If you don't understand self-employment taxes, I did talk about it in one of my previous videos, which I'll link below and up above here. But basically, self-employment tax is 15.3% of your income that is set aside to pay for Social Security and Medicare taxes. This tax would normally be split between you and your employer if you were a W-2 employee. And when I say W-2, I'm talking about the form that you would fill out with your employer that designates you as an employee. So make no mistake about that. Now let's discuss a few disadvantages to being a sole proprietor. I think most are already aware that there is no protection for a sole proprietor. That is a major disadvantage. But equally important is the fact that it is hard to acquire capital in a sole proprietorship. No investor is interested in this type of business structure because they get nothing from it. It's owned by one person, so they can't request any equity, and what good does that do for them? Investors are always interested in the numbers. They are there to make a profit. It is much harder to track finances because more likely than not, they are commingled between personal and business funds. Additionally, banks are hesitant to lend money to sole proprietorships. There's just a lack of credibility in terms of repayment. It's a bit of a catch-22 Because if you wanted to get a business loan, then they would want you to personally guarantee the loan so that they could come after your personal assets. But when you're a sole prop, in the words of my husband, they treat you like a wet food stamp. Last but not least, as a sole proprietor, your credibility is questioned not only by banks and lending institutions, but in general. You are your business. So if something happens to you, where does that leave your consumers and or creditors? You are in total control of your business, and that comes with a higher level of risk for the general public. Fortunately, you can easily convert from a sole prop to any other type of business structure when it's right for you and your business. And that is all I have for the sole proprietorship. Let me know in the comments if you've run into any issues as a sole prop or if you have any questions about the sole proprietorship. Of course, this is Talbert Law Office, your favorite go-to legal resource for all things business, nonprofit, and intellectual property law. I'll see you in the next video.